So let's start with City Rhythm. I haven't looked at the card. I know it's got like Rock Rose or something's added to it. So let's check out Miles's presentation. I think he changed his caps too, based on the bottle I grabbed from his Instagram, so I could put in the thumbnail. He's always upgrading his stuff. Ooh, he did upgrade the cap. Doesn't that look good? And the actual fitting cutout for the bottle's different. Ooh, this is 100 ml. It's my first 100 ml. Normally it seems to be 50 mLs. Yeah, that's the 100 ml. God, it's so much heavier now. Check out that new cap because that's what's different. Check that out. It was heavy too. I like the new cap. I like the previous caps, but this is even nicer. This is an original design. This isn't just some basic ass stock cap. It might still be a stock cap I've just never seen before, and he's got the engraving done, but nice upgrade because I love his bottles. Always have. And you got the metal plate with some embossing and debossing. City Rhythm Manhattan Midnight Parfum X Straight. Yep, it's the 100 milliliter bottle. I love his bottles. I do. I'm a sucker for these bottles. Atomizer's lined up. He does have pressurized atomizer. 2 sprays. Let's see what. Let me breathe through my mouth. I don't want to breathe through my nose yet because this stuff is strong. I want to see what's different because original Manhattan, it's a little fresher, more violet leaf, lavender. There's a dry aromatic tobacco that it's known for. Very versatile. Probably his best signature scent that he's ever released. It's not super tropical. It's not island related. It's not super leathery or super boozy. Like he's got stuff like that, very gourmand stuff. Manhattan's the one if you're looking for the masculine signature scent. Let's see what's different here. That is a jammy rose, but it's not over the top rose. I pick it up, but it's not the main note. I still get a lot of like violet lavender, aromatic, fresh, a little, I don't want to say aquatic. Let's go with ozonic and slightly watery, just a little bit. Like I say watery, that still ties to aquatic. Like it's just like this ozonic freshness that's not quite aquatic, but it's got this fresh, airy tone to it. Not aldehydic. It's not fizzy and effervescent. A little bit of citrus in here, though. You know, it's not as heavy as I thought it would be. With a name like Midnight, I thought for sure this would be a much darker take. It's really not super heavy. If anything, it's more like kind of how I look at intense red tobacco, where it's not more intense than red tobacco. It's like the Privé refined version. I think this is kind of like Manhattan Privé. Just saying, I don't make the rules. It's that man's brand, but that's kind of how I feel about it. It's richer, it's deeper, but it's not overwhelmingly heavy and super thick. Like I still feel like it can do what Manhattan can do. Maybe not in the heat. I probably wouldn't want to wear this outdoors in the summer, but outside of that, there's more depth here. It's got this sensuality added. Like there are newer elements here that I'm getting even in the top. It's not over the top tobacco either. It's really good. It's not wow, like the way that wood fire grilled pineapple and mango hit me with Puerto Rico. It's not that holy shit when I smell it. It's more like ooh when I smell it. That's the emotion. That's the feeling. It's like, ooh. It's nice and smooth. Like I picture, this may sound crazy. I did talk to him this morning via text. Justin wearing this to a gig. I could see Justin rocking this to a gig, one of those evening settings. Any of you that have ever seen any of the content he's posted or ever had the luxury of going to one of his gigs, it's that late night dim lighting setting, smooth. I mean, he's a jazz trumpet player. He doesn't just play jazz, but it's a lot of that vibe. This kind of fits that evening aura, but I still think you can pull this off in the day because it's still Manhattan at its core. Look at these notes. So big story about it. Let's read the story. The city of Manhattan is singularly significant to me, so it's only fitting that my first fragrance creation was an homage to this place where my story includes so many chapters. I migrated to New York from Caribbean island at age 12, encountered life at a whirlwind pace. My youth was spent laboring at jobs all across the city for less than minimum wage, but there was something that always elicited a transformative sense of strength and self-worth in me, smelling good. I remember saving up all my tips to buy my very own bottle of Gucci Pour Homme 2. Enveloped in this scent, I felt important, special, and worthy of my own dreams of success. This is when my understanding of the power of scent truly began. Manhattan plays with the alluring and enigmatic character of New York City by bringing the dichotomy between light and dark to life on the skin. That's a fair set. I like that. It makes sense with this profile. Its bright opening evokes a barrage of lights reflecting off of skyscrapers, with bergamot and cinnamon captivating the senses. Continuing to develop, we journey to the hidden depths of the city as heart notes of incense unveiled are unrivaled to transition into rich shades of tobacco leaf, vanilla, and cedarwood. Manhattan, like its namesake, lends energies to any season or event. Fresh enough for summer evenings specifically. Yes, I'm glad he said that, because daytime, maybe not so much. Profound enough to cut through the winter chill. At its core, the fragrance represents hope, possibility, and the power of self-belief. You will find yourself reaching for the bottle year-round. It's definitely still a signature scent. So we got cassia and bergamot with violet leaf at the top. Still very present. The heart, it definitely shines here. You get this deep rock rose smell, frankincense, myrrh, pimento pepper, tea. And then the base is tobacco leaf, vanilla, vetiver. So a lot of the same notes of Manhattan. I think the rock rose is the biggest standout here. That's really the difference. Majority of this, I think, if not all of it, is in the original. The tea does offer a little bit of an herbal feel, but I wouldn't call it over the top green, but there is that element here. The main things I'm getting: violet leaf, that little bit of citrus, the rock rose, and incense at the moment, with just a hint of the tobacco. Just a little bit. We're early stages. It's high concentration. I'm sure it's still a 50% oil concentration. I mean, it's shining. It's definitely shining on that rose is shiny. A little bit more spices coming out. That cinnamon's starting to hit a bit more. It's much spicier than Manhattan, but it's still Manhattan. That's the thing. If you're familiar with Manhattan, the core DNA is here. It's definitely a true flanker to it. It pays homage to the original while improving upon it or adding to it in many ways. I think it releases on the 20th, which is in 4 days. Again, not oh my God when I smell it, more ooh, got that soothing nature to it. I think it's an easy 8.5 out of 10. The wow factor is what punches it to a 9. It doesn't have the same level of impact on me the first time I smelled Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico really took me back because it was just so different from everything else I've smelled in the genre, in that tropical summertime kind of vacation vibe. So different. And I saw a lot of polarizing. It was polarizing for a lot of people. Some people couldn't stand it, and some people swear by it. That's fragrance for you. But with me, it really like, oh shit, this is different. Whereas this ties directly to the original and adds more. Again, I think it's more like a Manhattan Privé than just being called Midnight. Like he calls it, I think it's listed on the Instagram page as Midnight Elixir. I would probably personally say Privé over Elixir because it just smells like more of a private line take on the original. I think it is superior to the original, unless you live in a really hot climate. If it's super hot all the time, the original is probably still the way to go. But if you have a milder spring and fall, let's say you have some real winter weather here and there, even if it's spotty, you actually get some pretty cold weather, cooler evenings, a couple months out the year, this might be the way to go, because outside of a super hot summer's day, this is probably going to work in every situation that Manhattan does aside from that. And in certain situations, it's going to be better, especially evenings. This will be better than Manhattan for evening settings. It's got more depth to it. It's richer. It's a darker take. Doesn't lose the freshness, but it does have darker elements to it. Let's see. How many of you have gotten samples? Because I know there's samples that have gone out so far. I'm curious on what anybody that's tried it might have to say. Do you agree with my assessment? Do you get something similar?